This conference will now be
So in the
recorded.
previous class, I have discussed about AutoSum function, text function, mathematical function, database function. Today we will start off with statistical function. So under statistical function, again you have average, you have count. So average function, it will give you the average of the total value if you want. Count, if I want to know how many records are there in my database, then I can go for count. Count is only for the numeric value. Then you have count A. So this function, it is applicable even for the text. So it will count the number of non-empty cells. And syntax is given below for each and every function. Then you have count blank. So this function will count the number of empty cells in the range of cells. Then you have countif. Countif function counts the number of cells that meets a specific condition. So you are giving a condition. In case of count function, you cannot give any condition. I can go for countif, wherein you can give one condition here. Then you have count if s. So this function can hold multiple criterias in your function. Then you have max function. It returns the highest value. Minimum, it returns the lowest value. Now you have two more functions, that is large and small. So if you have some values, if you want to know the first largest, second largest, third largest, then I cannot go for max function. I can go for this large function. Similarly, small function, if you want to know the first smallest, second smallest, third smallest, then I can go for this small function. So we'll do this one by one. So in the previous class, I had told you, you have name, subject 1, subject 2, you want to find total, average, count, max, minimum and product. These things we have already discussed. So if I want to get the total value, always formula should commence with an equal sign. Function name is sum and your value commences from the range B column second row to C column second row. Close the bracket, enter. Now you have this total in the cell, D2 cell. You need not calculate for each and every cell. So you can either double click or drag it to get the total value. When you come to the next cell reference automatically it changes. So it is changed from B3 to C3, B4 to C4, B5 to C5. Now average function, Again, formula should commence with an equal sign. Average of B2 to C2. So you're taking these two subjects, you're finding the average. So again, if you double click, it's going to give you the average for the range where you have the values. If you want, you can either have decimal place or you can decrease the decimal. So count function, I want to know the count of records equals count, open the bracket. I will take numerical field. I want to find the count. I want to know the count, how many records I have in this database. So I'm selecting D2 to D5, this range. Now if I press enter, totally 4 records I have, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now if I want to know the highest value based on my total, equals, max is my function. I'm selecting the range, that is my total column. My value commences from D2 to D5. Close the bracket. So in this total, highest value is 183. Only one value you will be arriving. Count, maximum, minimum, you will get one single value. So similarly, min function, on the basis of total, you will get the minimum value. So among this total, who is getting the lowest marks? That is 134. Okay. So in the statistical function, we have covered with average, count. Now we'll go for count A, count blank. So how do I work on this? So count A is equal to count A function counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty. Okay. So it has got argument, that is value 1, value 2. So I'm just selecting this range. So it's going to give you only the count of count A function counts the number of non-empty cells. Non-empty cells, it's going to give you the count. See, I have one database here. I have employee name. So which are the days they are working? So James, he's working on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Other days he's not working. Okay. Jones, he's working on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Other days he's not working. Again, Smith, he's working from Monday to Friday. Saturday he's not working. Again, Alan, he is working only 3 days in a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Martin, he's working only Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. And Blake, he's working all the 5 days except on Saturday. If I want to know the count of it, so what I'm going to do is I'll use the count A function here. Equals count A, open the bracket. I'm selecting the range, that is B column second row to G column second row. Okay. Now it is showing you only the non-empty cells. So which are the days James is working? He's working only on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So this works for text column. Count function, it works only for numerical columns. Now using fill hand, if I drag it, see it's going to show you only the non-empty cells. Okay. So here also 3 days he is working. Here he is working 5 days. Here he is working for 3 days. Again 3 days. Here 5 days. But I wanted to know which are the days they are not working. So I wanted to know number of employees on which days they are not working. Which are the other days they are not working. I want to know that count. So I will use this count blank function is equal to count blank counts the number of empty cells in the specified range of cells. Okay, only blank cells count it has to give me. Okay, so I'm selecting here from B2 to G2. Okay, so James, he's not working for 3 days. Okay, number of employees who are not working on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Only count blanks. So here it is showing you Monday 3 days, Tuesdays 1, 2, 3, again Wednesday, count blank. So I want to know which are the employees uh, who are not working on Mondays. Okay. So I want to know the count of employees who are not working on Mondays. So you can use count blank. So count blank, see, on Mondays, Jones and Martin. These two people are not working. So it's going to give you a count as 2. Again on Tuesday, James and Ellen. Count of employees who are not working on Tuesday. Again Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. Okay, Saturday, how many are not working? So James, Smith, Ellen, and Blake. So it's going to give you the count as 1, 2, 3, and 4. So any doubts you have on this count function, count if, count blank? Any doubts? Okay. So in the company, employees, which are the days they are working, which are the days they are not working. So if the manager, if they ask for them, which are the employees who are not working on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, so I need the count of it, then I can go for this count blank function. So count A, it will give you only the non blank cells. Okay, it will give you the count of non blank cells. Next function. Then you have count if. So COUNTIF function counts the number of cells that meet a specific condition in a range. So it has got two arguments, range and criteria. I will take one more example for this count and count A. Equals count function counts the number of cells in a range that contains numbers. It is applicable only for the values. So I have job position and salary column. Two columns I have. One is the designation and one is the salary column. If I want to know the count of employees, then I can go for this count function and select the range. Now how many count of employees I have? Totally 10 numbers. Okay. Now count A. Now I'll select A column second row to A column 11th row. Now also it's going to show you the count. But if I use numeric column for this, equals, okay, it's giving you, okay. So this is one more example. You can use count A or count function to know the count. How many employees are there in your database? So I have a database here is equal to count if counts the number of cells with a range that meets the condition. So I'll open the bracket. Ranges, I'll go for this product. Okay. No, I'll go for this quantity and my criteria is, okay, I'll go for this product. Criteria, I want to know the count of oranges. So it's going to give you the count of oranges, that is 2. Count if I want to know the count of product, that is oranges. How many oranges I have in my database. So what I am doing, I am using countif function where I can give one criteria, one condition can be given. Formula should commence with an equal sign, equals countif, open the bracket. So my product range commences from B column second row to B column ninth row. And my condition is I am going for oranges. We will take one more example is equal to countif, open the bracket. I want to know the quantity. So ranges I am selecting quantity. My value commences from A column second row to A column ninth row. Condition is I am giving quantity should be above 10. If I give above 10, it will take above 10. It will not take 10 into consideration. It will take above 10 only. 10 and above only it will take. If you give greater than equal to, it will take even 10 value into consideration. So I want to know quantity more than 10. Count of quantity more than 10. So how many I have? One is 15, one is 22, one is 12. So it has to show me the count as 3. So you're getting the count as 3. Okay. Any doubts in this? Any doubts on this function? Count and countif. Next I'll go for count if s. This is count. I want to know the count of oranges. This output 2 is for count of oranges. This output is to count value greater than 10. It's going to give you the quantity greater than 10 count. Next, if I want to give multiple conditions, I am using count if s is equal to count if s, open the bracket. Criteria is, criteria range is, I'll take salesman. This is first criteria. Then condition here is, I'll go for Tom. Criteria 1 is Tom. Then criteria range 2 is, I'll go for product. Their criteria, I'll go for apples. So what I wanted is salesman should be Tom, and second condition is it should be apple. Only that count I wanted to have. Okay. So I'll get the count as 1. Totally, how many Toms I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. But product is different. One is apple, one is orange, one is banana, one is watermelon. So I'm checking for two conditions. Salesperson should be Tom as well as the product should be apple. Only that count I wanted. Again, in that, if you want to give a condition, then you can go even for the quantity. So I can put a comma. Again, I'll go for this quantity. Quantity, I'll give less than 3. Less than 3 means that time also it will give you the quantity as 1. Count as 1. I'll give greater than 3. Now it is going to give you the count as 1. So here my condition is he should be Tom, and the product also what he's selling is apple, as well as the quantity should be greater than 3. Now suppose in this case if I change here, I'll change the name to Tom. Again here product I'll change this to apple, and if I change here to 7, automatically it is showing you the condition as the count as 2. 2 records you have. Any doubts you have? Any doubts on this count? Count if s. Okay. So count function, it counts only for the range of cells. Count A, it checks only for the non-empty values. Count if, you can give one criteria. Count if s, you can give multiple criterias. Okay. Max and minimum I've told you. Next we have large and small function. So I have marks here as my heading and I have values here. So if I want to know the first largest, you will use max function. But if I want to know second, third, fourth largest, I can use this large function. So large function returns the kth largest value in your data set. So it has got two arguments. One is the array and the position. So array is your range. Your value commences from A2 cell to A6 cell. My range commences from A column second row to A column sixth row. I have values in this range. I want to know the first largest value. So I'll type 1. So first highest value, it will return as 90. If I want to know the second largest, you are in this cell where you have got the highest value. Then you can see the formula in your formula bar. Instead of 1, you can change this to 2. It's going to return the second highest value. After 90, second highest value is 88. If I want to know the third largest, so it will return 78. Again, go back to the cell, you type 3 here. It's going to show you the third largest. Again, if I want to know the fourth largest, type 4 here. Again, fifth largest, type 5. Okay, this is about your large function. You can come to know the first largest, second largest, third largest, like this. So similarly, if I want to know the smallest value, then I'll go for, see if I want to know the largest, equals large function, select the range. You want to know the first largest, it will return 90. If you want to know the smallest, equals small function, select the range, open the bracket, put a comma. I want to know the first smallest, it will return 56. If you want to change this to second smallest, change here to 2. Second smallest is 69. It will return the value in this way. So I have told you about autosum. Autosum function I have told you. I have told you about text function. I have told you about mathematical function. I have told you about database function. I have told you about statistical function. Any doubts in these functions? Any doubts? Okay. Next you have logical function. Under logical function, first function you have if function. So if function, it is a logical function which is used to perform conditional checking. So it will evaluate whether condition is true or false and returns one value. That is, if the condition is true, it will print the true value. If the condition is false, it will print the false value. The syntax for if function is if, open the bracket, if logical test value, if it is true, it will return true value. If not, it will show you false value. Okay. Now we'll check here with one example. I have age here. So here I'm using logical function. Always formula should commence with an equal sign. If age is present in which cell? A column, second row. You should not take heading. You should take the value. Value is present in A2 cell. In A2 cell, if the age, if it is greater than equal to 18, it should be 18 and above. Okay, if it is 18 and above 18, then it has to show me message as eligible to vote. So if I just close the bracket, wherever the value is above 18, only for that it will show you eligible to vote. For other records, it will show you false. Suppose if I don't give any condition, any message, if I don't want to, if I don't mention any, if I want to display true or false, I can display true or false. Wherever the value is above 18, it is true. Here the value is above 18. It will show you true. Here the value is again greater than 18. Here it is less. Suppose if I change here, automatically the result will be showing you false. Instead of that, I want to change the message. I want it to prompt it as eligible to vote. Else, for other records, it has to show me the message as still a minor. Now, wherever the value is above 18, it will show you eligible to vote. Wherever the value is below 18, it will show you still a minor. If I again make any changes in the value, automatically it will be changed. It will change. Okay. Automatically it will change. Okay. So this is about your if function. So we'll take one more example. So here what you are doing is you have in A column student name, in B column I have score. Okay. So what is the marks that you have scored? John has scored 45, Mary it is 60. So my condition is if my score is above 50, then it is passed, else it is failed. So what I'll do, I'll type equals here, equals, your function is if in B2 cell, if the value, if your score is above 50, then you have passed. Else, for other records, it has to show you failed. Close the bracket. So, this is my condition. If this condition is true, print the true statement. For other records, print this false statement. This is false statement. This is true statement. Now it is showing you failed. Using fill hand, if you drag it or if you double click, formula is copied to rest of the cells. If I again change the value, here it will show you passed. Here, if I change the value, it will be showing the message as failed. Okay. Again, we'll take one more example. Here I have one database, that is employee name, status and approval. If John status is yes, then it is approved. If Jane, if status is no, then it is not approved. Okay. So how do I check for the condition? Always formula should commence with an equal sign. If, open the bracket, if the status in B column in the seventh row, if my status is yes, always you should type how you have entered in that cell. You have typed yes in lowercase or in uppercase or first letter in capital. When you are checking for condition, it should be in the same condition. How you have typed in the same condition, you need to check. If in B7, if the status is yes, then message has to be displayed as approved. For rest of the records, it has to display it as not approved. Enter. Using fill hand, if you drag it, formula is copied to rest of the cells. Again, if you if you interchange here, if I make it as no, automatically message will be changed. Like this. Any doubts you have? Any doubts? No doubts? Database functions. I'll just, after this, again, I'll just repeat if I'm not told. In this, you have any doubts? Okay. Next, you have this nested if. In the nested if, what I'm doing is, if your value is 90 or above 90, it has to show me the message as A. If your value is between 80 to 89, it has to show you the message as B. If it is 70 to 79, it has to show me C. And if it is below 70, it has to show me as F. Okay. So I'm going for this nested if, that is multiple conditions. How to give the multiple conditions. Here I have one database, student name, score and grade, what it has to display. Okay. Here I am typing the formula equals, your score is present in B column second row. If the value is greater than 90, then it has to show me it as A grade. If it is greater than 80, then it should show me as B. If it is greater than 70, C. For rest of the records, it should show me as F. Okay. So how do I give the multiple condition? We will try it out here once again. Is equal to, if, open the bracket, if this cell, if it is greater than equal to 90, then it has to show me as A. Again you are typing if condition, open the bracket, if this cell, if it is above 85, then let it show it as B. Again, if condition, open the bracket, in this cell, if the value is greater than equal to 75, I want to display it as C. For the rest of the records, let it display it as F. So how many if statements have opened? 1, 2, 3. 3 brackets has to be closed in the end. Now using fill hand, drag it or double click, it will show you the output. Okay. So based on your condition, the values will be displayed. See, formula is present in this cell. So here you have the formula. If the value is greater than 90, A. If it is greater than 80, B. If it is greater than 70, let it show me C. If it is below 70, let it display F. Okay. Any doubts? No doubts? Okay. Next, I am using, I have told you about if function. If is a logical function, then you have one more function under logical function, that is AND. Under logical function, I have if, I have AND, I have OR. Okay. So here I have a database, I have student name, I have marks, max marks and science marks. Okay. In both the subject, if they have scored 50 and above, only then they are passed. If not, they have failed. So how do I check it out? Okay. I'm typing the formula here, equals, I'm checking for two conditions. If both the conditions are true, in maths also they should have scored 50 and above, science also they should have scored 50 and above, only then it has to show pass, else it has to show you fail. So equals, if, open the bracket, and I'm checking for two conditions. Now what I'm doing, I'm checking for max marks. So max marks is present in B column second row. B column second row. If the max marks, if it is greater than equal to 50, comma, again science marks also, if it is above 50, now close the bracket. Okay. This is for and. You're checking your max marks as well as science marks. If you have scored 50 and above, then what is the message it has to display? It has to display it as pass. Else it has to display it as fail. Now one more bracket, you are closing it in the end. Now here, see, one subject he has passed, one subject he has failed. Then totally the output is failed. In both the subjects, if you have scored above 50, then only it is pass. If you interchange the value again, see now both are pass. So if I change the value here, it is fail. Clear? If I be in the cell, you can see the formula. So and function, it is going to check whether both the conditions are true. If all the conditions are true, then only it will return true. If any one condition fails, then also it is false only. In case of AND function, if both the conditions are true, or if more than one condition, if all the conditions are true, in case of AND, if all the conditions are true, then only it will return true. If not, it will become false. In case of OR function, either any one of the condition is true, then also it will be true. Okay. So you can check if a student has passed both maths and science with a score of 50 or more in both subjects. If both conditions meet, then returns passed. Otherwise, it will return fail. Okay. Now OR function. OR function, what it will do? It will check if any one of the condition, if it is true, then also it will show you passed. Else it will show you failed. Okay. Same example. I'll use using OR function. So equals, if, open the bracket, or, open the bracket, if this cell value, if it is greater than equal to 50, comma, again, if science value, if it is above 50, close the bracket, comma, passed, else failed. See, if any one of the subject, if you have scored above 50, then also it will show you passed. See, here the condition is met, then also it will show you passed only. Any one condition should be above 50. If both are below 50, then it will return fail. Okay. If any one of the condition matches also, then it will return true only. Any doubts? Okay. You were telling about database function. So in the database function, I'll just repeat database function once more. If I want to find the sum, you'll use the function sum. Sum, you want to know the total value of the salary column. So my salary value commences from C column, second row to C column, seventh row. It's going to return the sum value as 1,70,000. So you can check it out whether the value is correct by just selecting this value. See, if you select only this value in your status bar, it is showing you sum of the selected range of values is 1,70,000. So that and this is matching. It is one and the same. So my condition is true. Okay. I have 6 records and it's showing you even the average here. Average of selected range of cells. Okay. This can be you can get the sum value in dsum function also. So how to use database function? Equals dsum, open the bracket. It has got 3 arguments. One is database, one is field, and one is criteria. My database is commencing from A column, first row to C column, seventh row. So this is my database. So database is commencing from A column, first row to C column, seventh row. I want to know the sum of salary. So my field, for which field I want to get the total value? For the salary field. So salary field is present in C1 cell and my values are commencing from C column second row to C column seventh row. Close the bracket, enter. Now also you are getting the same total value. But you have 3 arguments. One is database, one is the field, and one is the value from where it is commencing. 3 arguments are there. Similarly, if I want to find the average, I'll use equals D average, same cell reference, no changes. My database commences from A1 to C7. I want to get the average salary for salary column and my range starts from C column second row to C column seventh row. See, it is showing you the average. If you want to get the sum, is equal to D sum database field range. If you want to know the maximum value, is equal to D max open the bracket. This is my database, field and value. That is the range. It is starting from this cell to this cell. So highest salary, who is getting? That is James. That is 50,000. It will return is equal to D minimum. My database is commencing from A column, first row to C column, seventh row. Field is C1 cell, and my range is C column, second row to C column, seventh row. So lowest salary is 12,000. If you want to know the count, is equal to D count. Open the bracket. This is my database. Field is salary, and my range is from this column to this column. So you have totally 6 records. Or you can give condition also. I have employee name, that is my heading. I want to know the salary for only name commencing with alphabet J. So condition I've given here. Heading is E name, that is employee name. Alphabet starting with J. Here I've given salary. Here I want to get the salary of only employees whose name commencing with J. So I should get my output as 65,000. These two salary total value I should get it here. So how to get it? Equals dsum function. My database commences from A column, first row to C column, seventh row. Field is I want to get the total salary, but I've given the condition here in F1 to F2 cell. Heading is name, and my condition is employee name starting with J. Close the bracket. See, it is showing you the total salary as 65,000. See, if I select this 65,000, it is showing you here. Same salary, I've got it here. Again, I'll give the condition here. I'll type job. I want to get the salesman total salary. So, how many salesmen I have? I have only one. So, I have two analysts. Two analysts total salary I want to get. So, here I have one analyst. You can press Control and select even this cell. See, it is showing you 30 plus 35, 65,000 salary. It should show me in this cell. So you are typing the formula here is equal to D sum. Open the bracket. My database starts from A column, first row to C column, seventh row. Field is salary, and my criteria is job analyst. Okay, that is my heading and the record. I want to get only analyst total salary. Analyst total salaries are 65,000. Similarly, I can give the condition here. Salary greater than equal to 30,000. Whoever is getting salary 30,000 and above 30,000, only that total value I want to get. See, one is 50,000, it is above 30,000. Hold the control key. Since I have given greater than equal to, it will consider even 30,000 salary value. If you give only greater than, it will not take this value into consideration. Again, I'll select this. Total salary is 1,15,000. That output I should get it in this cell. Equals D sum. Open the bracket. This is database. Field is salary. Criteria is where salary is above 30,000. So same total value, I've got it here. Any doubts in this database function? No doubts? Okay. So I've told you about logical function, I've told autosum function, I've told text function. I'll come back to other functions again. So I'll just show you this trace precedent, trace dependence, and how to define names. So precedence shows you which cell are used as input for a selected cell. That is, which cell affect the value of the selected cells. So trace dependence shows you which cell are affected by selecting cell. That is, which cells rely on the value of selected cells. So we'll take one simple example first. I have name, subject 1, subject 2, total. Just one second. Hello, who has exited? I'm marking the attendance. If you go back, now only 70 members are there. I'm taking attendance of only them. Who has left now? I've marked the attendance. Only 70 are there. 73 were there. Fine. See, I have found the total value row wise and column wise equals sum, open the bracket. By adding these two values, you have arrived at this total. Just double click, formula is copied to rest of the cells. Now this is your row wise total. Okay, row wise you have found the total. If you want column wise total, equals sum, open the bracket. This is my column wise total. Now how did you arrive at this total? By adding these two values, you have got this total. Go for this data tab. In data tab, click on trace precedent. Again come to the next cell, trace precedent. Again trace precedent. Again trace precedent. How did you arrive at this total value 562? Click on trace precedent. Be in the cell, click on trace precedent. By adding this above values, you have arrived at this total. Now here, what I'll do, I'll just type equal sign. In D column 6th row, you have some value. D column 6th row, you have some value. I'll just divide that with 3. You have got some value. Again, D6, you are adding 300 to it. That time what is the value? Again in some other cell is equal to D6 minus 300. You have got some value. Again is equal to D6 multiplied by 2. Okay. This is the cell which I am using. Okay. Using this cell reference, here I am dividing, here I am adding, here I am multiplying or I am subtracting, here I am multiplying. Okay, using this cell value, you are dividing, adding, subtracting and multiplying. All these cells are dependent on this D6 cell. This where whatever value you have arrived at this different cells are dependent on this D6 cell. So you should be in the cell where you have the total value column wise. Click on this trace dependence. If you click on trace dependence, it will show you. So all these cells are dependent on this D6 cell. Suppose if you want to know what is the formula present in this cell, then I can click on the show formula. So it will show you the formula, what formula you have typed. If you don't want to see the formula, click on this show formula. Suppose if you want to remove these arrows, click on remove arrows. Again you can click on trace precedent and trace dependence. Okay. So if you want to get the total value, either row wise or column wise, be in this row value in this cell, find the sum of it. If you want column wise total, be in this cell, find the sum of this above value. If you want to use this cell reference and add, subtract, multiply, divide, here you are making use of this cell reference equals D6 divided by 3, or you are adding, you are subtracting, you are multiplying. You should be in the cell where all these cells are dependent on that. Then click on trace precedent. Once if you click, it will show you column wise total arrow mark. That is those values, if you add, you have arrived at this total. Once more, by adding this value, you have arrived at this total. So it is pointing to this cell. Trace dependence. If you want to see the formula, click on show formula. Okay. So trace precedent is the meaning of trace precedent and trace dependent. Any doubts? So if you have any formulas in your database, how did you arrive at that total value? Then I can use this trace precedent and trace dependent. This is simple one. You can understand, for that I have told you this example. So in this I have named subject 1, subject 2. I want to find the total. So to find total, you are using the function sum. Open the bracket. My cell references B2 cell 2, B2 to C2. You have got the row wise total. Double click. So formula will vary for each and every cell. Cell reference is changing. Here it is B3 to C3, B4 to C4, B5 to C5. Now I want to find the total value column wise. B in the cell equals sum, open the bracket. This is my column. You have the value in D2 cell up to D5 cell. You have got the total value column wise equals D6 plus 100. 562 plus 100. It is going to show you 662. In some other cell is equal to D6 is the cell where you have got the total value. I am subtracting 300 from 562. This is my total value. Again in some other cell equals D6 is having 562. When divided by 3, this will be my value. Again in some other cell is equal to D6 is having 562 multiplied by 2. 562 multiplied by 2. This is my product. Okay. B in the cell where you have got the total value column wise. Click on trace precedent. By adding this above value, this total value, you have got it. Again click on this. By adding this row wise value, you have got this total. Trace dependence, all these cells are dependent on this cell. If I want to know the formula, if I want to see what formula I have typed, click on show formula. Again click on it, formula is removed. If you want to remove all arrows, go for remove all arrows. If not, only trace precedent arrow, only trace precedent arrow can be removed, or trace dependence arrow can be removed, or remove all arrows, or click on it once more. Any doubts? No doubts? Okay. Now we have seen how you have got the total value, right? One method is what I can do. I can type equals B2, B2 plus C2. I need not use sum function. This is one more method. B2 plus C2. B2 plus C2, you'll get the total value. See, B3 plus C3. This is one more method. Okay, without using sum function. If I want to get average, you're finding average on the basis of total. Equals, my total value is present in D2 cell. How many subjects I have? Subject 1 and subject 2. So total is D2 cell divided by 2 subjects. It will give you the average. So using fill hand, just drag it. If you don't want decimal, you can decrease the decimal. Okay. This is the second method. So B2 plus C2 to get the average total divided by number of subject instead of using average function. Any doubts in this? No doubts? Okay. So now cell reference is changing for each and every cell. Instead of that, what I can do, I'll just see one more method also. You can find the sum equals 87 plus 80. Then also you'll get the total. But if I drag it, it will give you the same value. Every time I cannot keep typing. It is time consuming. So I will not be going for this method. Okay. To find average also equals D2 cell divided by number of subject. You have 2 subject. It will show you the average. But if I drag it, Same formula is copied because you have mentioned the value. So I will not be going for this method. Either I can use sum or average, or you can use the cell reference. Okay. So we'll wind up the session. Same thing, I'll continue in the next class. We'll continue in the next session. Practice all these things. Thank you.